Hi guys, it's Vesna here. Welcome to my cooking channel. If you're brand new to my channel, thank you so much for stopping by. If you're returning, welcome back. On my channel, you can see lots of different recipes. A lot of them is inspired by Eastern European cuisine because that's where my background is from, but with a Canadian twist because I live in Canada. So if that's the kind of stuff you enjoy, please stay tuned and check out my latest recipe. So for today's recipe, I am making a muffin recipe, a pumpkin muffin recipe. Now, I got this recipe from a Facebook page. I'll link that page to my description below. However, the I made some adjustments to the recipe, so you'll be able to see what I did differently. But I just start off with all of the dry ingredients. I mix them all together, and then I mix the wet ingredients, and I mix them all together again. And that's about all there is to it, but I'll give you the step-by-step right now. So I'm adding 1 3/4 of a cup of all-purpose flour. Now the recipe calls for half of that cup, from that half of a cup being wheat bran or whole wheat flour, but I didn't have any, so I just used white flour. Then I need 1 1/2 teaspoons of baking soda, baking powder, and then 1 teaspoon of baking soda and half a teaspoon of salt. As well, it calls for some pumpkin pie spice, 2 teaspoons, so that's what you saw there. As well, actually, no, that's it for the dry ingredients. And then for the wet ingredients, we need some 1 cup of canned pure pumpkin. So you don't want the pumpkin pie filling, but you want the pured pumpkin. Then you want half a cup of plain unsweetened yogurt. Now I used vanilla yogurt and I used the Liberté full fat vanilla yogurt. And then you need half a cup of maple syrup or honey. I used maple syrup, 1/4 of a cup of butter, 1 egg, and 1 teaspoon of vanilla. And then that's it for the wet ingredients. So once you've mixed all of that together, then you mix the dry together, you mix the wet together, and then you want to combine them all. And once you've combined all of them, you also want to add 1 cup of finely grated carrots. And then you add half a cup of semi-sweet chocolate chips and half a cup of chopped walnuts or pecans. Now, I did not add any walnuts or pecans because my son can't take it to school then if it has nuts. And also, I use uh, milk chocolate chips instead of semi-sweet. And I did not use half a cup. I just kind of like took it in on a handful. And I don't mix it in. I just put it at the top. But you'll see that in the recipe. So once you mix everything really well together, I didn't use an electric mixer or anything. I just used my whisk to mix all of the ingredients together. And then I used just a spatula to scoop them into the muffin pan. Now, I lightly buttered the muffin pan. I didn't use paper cups for it. I have a stone Pampered Chef muffin pan that I use, and it's really good for not sticking or anything. So that's what I used for these muffins, and they didn't stick. They came out really nicely and baked really, really well. So as I mentioned at the beginning of the recipe, I didn't measure out how many chocolate chips I used. I just used kind of like a handful of them, and I put them on top of the muffins and just kind of push them in a little bit for them to kind of bake in, but right around the top. I found that we don't even necessarily like them when they're all mixed in with muffins, any kind of muffins. So I just went ahead and just did it this way, and I'm showing you here what kind of chocolate chips I used, but that's about it. And then it went in the oven. So this video is a part of a collab hosted by Sonia at Domestic Diva Cooking. If you haven't checked out Sonia's channel, make sure you check it out. She has a ton of inspiring recipes, really delicious stuff that I've actually tried firsthand. So make sure you check her channel out. She's also got another two channels. She has Domestic Diva DIY and Domestic Diva Home. So make sure you check them out if you haven't already. I will have her cooking channel linked in my description below. I will also have the collaborators playlist linked below. So make sure you check everyone's recipes out. I'm sure you'll find something delicious to eat in this baking collaboration. So your oven needs to be preheated to 375 and it goes into the hot oven for approximately 20 to 22 minutes. And this is what they'll look like when they are all done. So if this recipe looks delicious, make sure you consider subscribing to my page, hit that like button, and leave me a comment below if you have a version of this recipe that you like better, what you added, what you omitted, etc. And check out the playlist, check out Sonia's channel, and thank you so much for watching. Have an excellent day and happy baking.